Hey everyone, Ryan with Spotter Staffing here, about to go for episode 4 of Donuts with Directors with one of my favorite people ever, Mo Buti. She's going to tell us a little bit about her career, what's going on. She's invited me down to her condo area, which is down on 15th Street near UIC campus in this beautiful area, this beautiful complex. So I'm really excited. We're going to sit in her courtyard, talk to her a little bit about her career and what she's been up to, and learn a little bit more about her. So stick around. Mo Buti, episode 4, Donuts with Directors, coming up right now. All right, you can't see me, but you can hear me. So, there's my hand. So we're all good there. So welcome to Donuts with Directors. This is episode 4, I believe, and I'm here with one of my absolute favorite people that I've gotten to meet so far. Mo Buti is amazing. Oh, sorry, we didn't introduce them. They're upset about it. See?
And someone left. They own this whole
Yeah,
thing.
we got to introduce them. So we got to introduce who we got here.
We got Lulu.
Lulu, and then Lexi's running around here somewhere too.
Is running around, marking her territory. So
Awesome.
She'll pop in later.
So they're popping in, and they are definitely part of this interview. So yeah, these things are awesome. We're not doing donuts today because Mo is a very health conscious, and you can tell she's very fit, very ready to go. Yeah,
going.
That's the reason I'm not. The reason I'm not on camera is that exact opposite reason. So we're gonna go with that. So we're looking forward to this. You have an amazing background, so I'd love to just kind of jump in and start talking about all these incredible things you've done, if you're cool with it.
Yeah, of course.
All right, walk me through. Well, first of all, where'd you grow up?
Mount Prospect, Illinois.
Awesome. So you're right from here, Chicago area, born and bred.
Yeah.
All right, and then went to college.
Yeah.
Where?
So grew up in a family of 6 children.
Awesome.
And a bunch of redheads, some not redhead, but last name Buti. So I kind of grew up with that whole feeling of being made fun of and being isolated because kids are mean when you're young because I was different. Buti, red hair.
Right.
My mom liked to dress us all in navy blue because a boy or a girl can wear it and it doesn't show up dirt. That's her story. Sticking to it. So lots of making fun of, and growing up, our school district housed the hearing impaired kids in our school. So I was starting to observe that who were the last picked at gym class, who sat alone at lunch, who was made fun of, the children with hearing impairments and this one. So
you were lumped together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? When I grow up, I'm gonna make them cool. And all right, that's a little child thoughts, right? But guess what? I made it my mission. When I grow up, I'm gonna make those kids accepted and children with disabilities accepted. And so then when I went to college, I went to Northern Illinois University, and I went, I want to be a special ed teacher because I have to make those kids cool.
Yeah. And
that's where it all started.
So you were passionate about this back in high school. This is where it started.
I was in 4th grade.
Oh, wow.
When I wrote what I want to be when I grow up. I didn't really know it was called a special ed teacher, but I basically said I just wanted to make at that time I said the children with disabilities cool.
Awesome.
And I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to do it. So it started in 4th grade. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then the making fun of continued, so I even had more passion to do it. But yeah, so went to NIU, Northern Illinois University, Land of the Corn, inventors of barbed wire, in case you didn't know.
I'm well aware. The Barbs is actually their high school mascot.
Ah,
yeah.
Look at you with the knowledge.
Yeah. Did you ride the rail at Molly's?
Oh my gosh, Molly's. Yes, I've been there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the beer nuggets.
Yeah.
Those were the best. And the NIU is a great experience, and they have a great education program.
They do. Yeah.
I will always remember Dr. Dietz and Elliot Lesson. Those are my 2 professors that Dr. Dietz taught me how to write a behavior goal and nobody's business, a goal, a measurable goal. And then Dr. Elliot Lesson really was the person who taught me how to really, truly, authentically accept all children.
Yeah.
And then how do I teach others to do that? So it was a great experience at NIU. And then started teaching and then realized I wanted more and more and more. So I got a degree at ASU for mental retardation. That'll show how old I am. We don't use the R word anymore.
Gotcha.
But it was that then.
That was what it was, yeah.
And then, because I actually lived in Arizona and taught children who were severely intellectually impaired and physically disabled, loved that job. Came back to Illinois and got another degree, a master's degree at Northeastern Illinois in behavior management. Well, it was actually called behavior disorders. Again, I'm aging myself because it's not called that anymore.
It changes all. It changes.
I'm
though.
like,
Yeah.
You change everything right when and then I got my degree in administration, and then my director of special ed degree.
Awesome.
So it's interesting because when you become a teacher, you think that's it, and it's not.
It's not.
There's so
It's actually could be the
many-
start. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many hats you can wear, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And every experience is so different. So I think people, when you're going into teaching, especially now, you've heard a lot of people hear a lot of negative things just because of at-home learning and maybe unions and strikes and all that stuff. When it comes down to it, there's so much you can do in the field of education.
Yeah.
So it is I still think it's an awesome.
It's amazing you say that because this is our 4th one we've done, and every person that we've talked to has said that exact same thing.
Really?
They're like, it's amazing that people think they get into education and they just have to be a teacher, or they just have to be in our world, or they just have to be a speech language pathologist.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not even close to
No.
being the truth. Yeah.
And all of those related service providers, whether it's a speech, an OT, a psych, a social worker, I'm lumping them in this same group.
Yeah.
Because you can be a special administrator, you can be an advocate, you can be a private practice. There's so many opportunities, and
Awesome.
pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you went to Arizona, you come back here, you get a massive amount of degrees, and there's so many letters that go after your name, I think.
The alphabet soup, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the first position here you took?
Like after getting the
Yeah.
degrees with Chicago Public Schools.
Right.
I was a teacher, and within I think like 1 or 2 years I became an autism itinerant, and that was traveling. I had 22 schools where I would travel and give like support. It's almost like you were a consultant but working for the district.
Working for the district, okay.
Yeah, and within 2 years I became the director of autism for Chicago.
So were you
Public
setting up
Schools.
like autism programs within the schools and kind of guiding
Yeah.
them how to do it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
was this new at that time, like this idea of having an autism program?
No, they already had some, but what then became new was then within 1 year I became the director of autism and intellectual disabilities,
Okay.
because they realized that there were so many similar, there were characteristics that were similar, but even more importantly, there were strategies and evidence-based strategies that worked for both parties. So how can we make all these programs better? So at that time, bless you. At that time, bless you again. I think there was over 600 programs for Chicago. I think it was 658. I'm really weird with numbers. I remember.
Yeah.
Because I also remember my last day in CPS. I had 6,111 students under my umbrella. I will never forget that number. But it was great because I only had like 20 staff under me, which really did make it hard because we had to do the training. We did curriculum. We purchased curriculum. We purchased school equipment. We did awesome, robust training to staff. We went to AeipA meetings to support children and families, and it was a great job. Absolutely loved it. And then 1 year in Chicago Public Schools, we had 3 superintendents in 1 year. So what was this, like 6 years ago? And I was like, oh, my head is spinning. It just won't stop. And I said, you know what? Maybe I can help more people outside the district than I can inside the district.
And how long have you been? You were CPS for a while.
Like
right, at this
17
point.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew it was a long time.
Yeah, so I did it. I took that leap of faith 6 years ago, started my own business. I'm consulting, advocating, presenting, and then I get these great opportunities because of my degrees. School districts like Waukegan Public Schools, they're like, we need an interim special ed director. Awesome. Then we got a director, but we need to keep you on to support her because she's new.
Yep.
Awesome. Or a district that'll say, hey, we need a training on autism or assistive tech. Great. And I get to, and like now Pembroke School District, we have a super small district, who's gonna say, oh yeah, I'll be your special ed director one day a week, and then what am I gonna do? Well, guess what? I already have a bunch of other stuff, so I can do it. So it's so great because I can put on a different hat every day. So I get to advocate with families for their child. I get to present internationally still. Okay, the travel part slowed down during the pandemic.
Yeah, hopefully that's picking back up,
We're starting to pick up,
yeah.
And then I get to do these great, like, part-time jobs of being a director of special ed or supporting a new director of special ed. Like someone might say, we have a new special ed director. Can we hire you for like 2 months of support for
to come on and consult?
Yeah, just to help support, and I'm like, it's perfect.
That's awesome.
So it's really a cool.
And is that all under the umbrella of your own company?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, everyone's allowed me to keep that, but I'm also very flexible. So if someone says no, we need you to be a district employee to do it, that's great as long as they know I have other balls I'm juggling.
Right.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So you have to think strategically. When I started the business, autism was what I was like known for. So it was called AeipA, so it was like advocate and instructional expert for people with autism. But that word IEP was in there.
It's stuck in there, yeah.
So people would Google search IEP advocate and it would be like, ding. So that's how it really started coming up. But then it was, as a director of special ed, it's all, everyone knows everyone. It's actually a small, not small world, right?
Yeah.
So someone might say, oh, I know this great, I don't know if they'll call me great, but I know this director of special ed who would be available to help. Like, because most of them are working a full-time gig. So I often get called, even just for questions or support, or like I said, like I have a new one. Can you just come on for a month or two to help support? So it's really cool, and I'm so glad that I'm still also doing trainings for teachers because I don't want to be too removed from kids in the classroom, and so it is like a very unique
That's so cool.
And advocacy. I want to encourage everyone in this field to always, first know when you're sitting in an IEP meeting, when you're servicing a child with a disability, that you are actually doing advocacy.
Yeah.
So if you ever have a time in your life where you're maybe not wanting to work full-time anymore or not wanting to work for a district, you're already an advocate.
Yeah.
So just take that and do it.
And run with it.
Yeah.
So you present a lot. I know it's slowed down because of the
I have
pandemic.
25 presentations in the next 2 months.
That's so cool. So what are some topics you're presenting?
Yeah. So what I was most well known for is autism.
Yeah.
So autism as in educational strategies that work with kids with autism, behavioral strategies, and social skills training. And visual strategies. That was kind of my first thing. Then I started really getting into assistive technology for any child and augmentative communication. So systems for kids who are either nonverbal or don't have a really robust way to communicate. So these communication systems. And then compliance. I'm a huge compliance person, especially being a director of special ed.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you're always compliant. And there are some districts who might need just an overhaul of like their compliance, the way they're doing compliance or how they're looking at it. And because you also never want compliance to override implementation.
Right.
Like you do want implementation to be, strong, but then compliance, it is what it is. We have to.
You got to do it.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
So how do you marry those two? And so those are kind of some of my my main
And you're doing this internationally. I know we told you, like you were talking about, you were in Spain presenting, and
Barcelona, Lisbon, Canada, Germany, Amsterdam.
And I'm assuming this is all building just word of mouth. I mean, that's kind of how it's built.
Yeah. I mean, I have a website, but I don't solicit.
That's so cool.
And when someone sees me present, then they might like. Okay, and I have a unique name. Let's not forget that.
It's a marketing tool.
Right.
Yeah. What you got made fun of for as a young kid has now transformed into the best marketing tool you could possibly ask for.
Because there is no way anyone's going to forget that name. And my philosophy of presenting is this. I get that research is important. I get that data is important. But when I get an audience in front of me, some of them may not have signed up for this. Their boss might have made them come. And some of them might have this as their only professional development they're going to get for the next 3 years. So I want fast and quick and realistic things. What can I do tomorrow? What can I learn from you that I can do tomorrow? So I try to do just real practical, based on my own experience or based on the experience of the classrooms I go observe. So I like to be like, all right, here's the deal. You have these kind of kids, here's what you can do with them. I've seen it work, I have evidence it works. Is this a research-based presentation? No, but reality.
It's almost like a workshop.
Yeah. So I really, I think that's kind of where people love it, is that like, hey, look, you're gonna walk away with like at least a notebook of things you can try, and things you can attempt to do that maybe you didn't know. Yeah. And I'm pretty funny.
That's great. You are funny. You're fun to talk to. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So the kind of a three-headed approach with your company. So you're doing you'll step in as a consultant as far as a special education director, or actually take over for a little while.
Yep.
You'll do the presentations obviously when you can, and then also the advocate piece. What do you like the best out of all those?
Wow,
is that a loaded question? Is that hard to...
such a loaded question because they're so different.
Yeah.
And,
what did you start the company to do? Was it going to be an advocate company?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what it was. And it morphed into...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the advocacy, because my philosophy of advocacy, not a great business model, is this. Teach the parent what to do so they can take it and run with it, because they're going to be there the child's whole life. I may not.
Yeah.
So, and nor should they have to have some, so my goal is to really give them the skills and the tools to do it themselves. And then it's really cool when a family is like, hey, I did my IEP meeting yesterday, and I'm always like, hey, you want to go over it before? Like, I want them to fly on their own. Yeah. So it's really cool, and they're finally like, I did my meeting without you, and it was great.
Well, and it's funny. You and I have talked about this before, and you've said that same thing. This is a terrible business model for me, and we got that at Spotter too, because our model was...
we talked about yes.
And our model is we don't have buyout clauses. We don't do that crap. We want to be a partner to the district, and you find someone you stay with long term. And they're like, wait a minute, why do you have that as a business model?
Because it's the right thing. So you just said partner.
Yeah, that's what we want to do.
So we're so similar because... Yes, so I want to give the parents the tools in building their partnership. So it's kind of exactly what you're doing.
Well, and I think that, this is why I was so excited to do this with you, and I think I connected with you right away, because you 100% care about where the care should be, and that is about the students, and that's where we are too. We're not in this to take advantage of anybody. We're in this to help the students, and that's the ultimate goal, and that's clearly what you're doing.
Yep. Yeah.
It's awesome. Love it. All right, so we heard about you going to Northern Illinois and riding the rail, which is amazing. And then we heard about all this stuff you've done. What is one accomplishment that you're most proud of that you've accomplished in this amazing career you've had so far? If there is one that you can... I know there's a lot.
I think it was my first time I was a keynote.
Was it?
Because it was in Atlanta.
Okay.
And it was not supposed to be Mo Buti. It was supposed to be Temple Granite.
Okay.
So you know who she is?
I don't, but yeah.
She has Asperger syndrome, autism.
Okay.
She's the one who invented the squeeze machine. There's
awesome.
books and movies about her. She is incredibly famous and has autism.
Yeah.
So she was supposed to be the keynote. It was in Atlanta. It was called, I think the Georgia Autism Conference. So I'm sitting at home, the phone rings, and they're telling me about this conference. I'm thinking, who cold calls for a conference? I thought they were just calling me to attend the conference. So I'm like, and they're like, so Temple had to cancel last minute as the keynote, and we would like you to be the keynote. And I went, what? And I mean,
that's so cool.
Yeah, it had to be 10 years ago, maybe 12. And I said, no, you don't understand. I provide information, not inspiration, because I think that's what keynote is.
Yeah.
Right? And she's like, well, we're going to beg to disagree, because we understand. We have people on the board who have seen you present.
So they'd seen you speak.
Yeah. And I was like, and then I'm like, when is it? Next week. And I said, and then she said, we can pay you, blah, blah, blah. And I go, yeah, that's
I'll be there.
Yeah, of course, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So I go, and I'll remember to this day, I was wearing a light gray suit with a hot pink shirt and hot pink 4-inch high heel shoes. I walk in, and I open this door, and it is a professional size, like, theater auditorium, like, huge. And I just went, oh, I'm in the wrong place. So I start walking out, and this man goes, excuse me, are you Mo Buti? And I go, I am. And he goes, oh, awesome, nice to meet you. I'm your AV guy. And I go, oh, I have an AV guy. And he goes, yes, what colored backdrop do you want? And so I'm joking, and I go, sparkly hot pink. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, and would you like Janet Jackson, handheld, or lapel? And I'm like, Janet Jackson? So that meant it was the earpiece.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't know,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
I was like, Janet Jackson?
Which, of course, she rocks that. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
so-
first concert, by the way, ever was Janet Jackson.
No way.
First concert ever, yeah.
So then I said, how many people are going to be here? He's like, well, I mean, about 3,000, but, and he goes, but we kind of overbooked because it was supposed to be Temple. And I'm like, when does it start? I need to go outside. I went outside and paced and was like,
yeah, I'm breathing in a bag.
I mean, I've done presentations sitting down, talking to teachers on, like, here's how we do this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my God. So I get there, I get up on this podium, I have my computer, they have huge...
Does everyone know that you have not, like, that she's not coming and it's now
yes,
you? Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't, like, just spring it on them. Like,
yeah, no, they all got
just kidding.
emails. Yeah. And
yeah.
so I get on the screen, or I get on the stage, and they had 2 tubes of pink sparkles. I was like, what? This is amazing. And then they put on the Janet Jackson thing here. So I have my computer up. They have projected all over, right, the slide.
Yeah.
And, the first slide is, who is Mo Buti? Well, I should know that one. And I just, like I was fumbling. And then finally I go, I'm sorry. Can you just give me a minute? I walk over to the podium. I close the computer screen. I just walk out in the middle. And I just
riffed. Yeah.
And then at one point, I jump off the front of the stage and I'm walking through the audience.
Yes.
And I am like, yeah.
You're like Janet Jackson. You are in the crowd. Yeah.
So great that when I got done, sorry, my dogs get a little bit jealous of neighbors coming by. So I'm done. I go up and I say thank you. I get this great clapping. So I'm putting my stuff away and I look up and there's a line and I'm thinking, what's going on next? There's a line for. And they're like, oh no, these are people that want to talk to you. I was like, talk to me. So what I did for the presentation was I called it A Moment in Their Shoes, A Lifetime of Learning. So I used the people with disabilities that inspired and taught me their stories. So I used it with their permission.
Yeah.
So there was lines of people and they were crying. And I thought, oh great, I made people cry. No. Parents saying, I just want to tell you that story you told me about Marcus. It's just like my son, and now I have hope for him. And I was like, what? No idea.
So you were inspiring. You didn't even know you were doing it.
It was the goosebumps everywhere. I was like, yeah.
That's amazing.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
The parents are hugging me. Teachers are hugging me. And then I said, okay, I love this.
This is awesome.
I helped all these people. Are you kidding me? I had no idea.
You're like, this is what I'm doing.
I just was like, woo!
So the 25 gigs you now have booked already, are these keynote addresses?
I've won. One of them's a keynote.
Awesome.
And in person, which is great.
Yeah.
It's in Southern Illinois. So I don't even remember where, but I'll have to share that with you because I know you know that area.
Yeah.
And the rest of them are all virtual, unfortunately. But
it'll change over. It'll start changing.
Yeah. No, it's my there's a squirrel that's about to come in. So just be prepared if it comes all the way down. My dogs might go crazy. But that was, I'm gonna say, my most favorite moment.
Now I have to come see you speak. I want to watch you keynote for sure.
It's so cool.
I'm excited. That's awesome.
I did have my in January of not last year but the year before, my boyfriend came to see me present in Florida, and he sat like way over in the corner. So I was really nervous, and then at first I was like, why am I nervous? And then at the end he was like, oh my gosh, that was so cool to watch you. And I was like, I always wanted someone who was like outside of this field to see it. And it was cool that, and it was so funny, he was taking notes. He's like, we'll debrief afterwards. But it's so cool to have someone on the outside. My dad heard me speak. It was like a 20-minute speech. That was cool too. It was, he heard that.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's
cool.
It's so fun. It's so invigorating. But the absolute best part is that inspiring and teaching others. And you're like, wow, I did that in 90 minutes, and look at that. Yeah.
Look what I did. Yeah. That's awesome. All right, so this is what we round up every one of these by giving you just a couple minutes to look in the camera and talk to, someone that is thinking about getting into this field. And I know you've hinted at it a little bit that there's all different directions you can go.
Right.
But any advice you would give someone coming into the special education field to, what are you so passionate about and what they can do? Any advice you'd give them, we'd love to pass that along.
Yeah. So I would say this field is amazing because you can wear so many different hats and do so many different things. But I would say always make one of the hats you wear your creative hat, because you can change the trajectory of a child's life. If you have that creative hat on, then you can do any of those other things and you can change someone's life forever. It's an amazing feeling. So I would just say, just go for it, be creative. If something's not working, pivot, try it a different way. If that's not working, pivot, try it a different way. And this field's really collaborative, which is also a pretty cool thing. So find your team, find your village, work together, and do great things for kids. It's a great field. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you, Mo. We appreciate you taking the time. All right.
Awesome.